The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Books, beauty products, science, fashion, and glam talk. From Bollywood to Hollywood, it's Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on W4WN Radio, the Women for Women Network. And here's your host, international speaker, educator, award-winning entrepreneur, and best-selling author, Dr. Afshan N. Hashmi.
Hello viewers around the globe, this is Dr. Afshan Hashmi live from Louisiana in her radio cum TV show of W4WN Radio Network, and today we have a very interesting guest, Vince Spinnato, who is like cosmetic chemist to the celebrities in Hollywood, and he has done lot of cosmetic has helped many cosmetic companies. But before bringing in, I just wanted to remind you that have you bought my two books, The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace? And this one was like a business book. And when this book came, there was a lot of research going in Harvard and in Stanford about the Hindi buzzword Jugaad. And I conceptualized Jugaad in this through a business management model and case study format, and this book was a bestseller on Amazon. So if you haven't bought this book, please go and buy this book and give me an honest review. Having said that, this was again an Amazon bestseller, and it is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, my second book. And in this, in a very unique way, I have conceptualized yoga. In a very unique way, I have conceptualized a story of bioterrorism. And when this book came in 2019, there was no trace of coronavirus. Having said that, these two books are in paperback, Nook, Kindle, and in audiobook form. So, and if you want to bring traffic to your web page, or if you want to come in my radio come TV show as a guest, you can write to me at afshan@drafshanhashmi.com. Having said that, friends, I will read from my this book little bit from the introduction, and here I go. And it is a part of the introduction, and I start from here. When I left India for the United States, my father told me that I was fulfilling my destiny and both of their dreams. He wanted his only daughter, Afshan, to write a book in America that would not only demonstrate her knowledge but change the world. With tall orders to follow, I immediately embraced his dream and imagined myself becoming the ultimate authority for American business travelers to India. For the past several years, I have been working on this dream. My friends and clients call me America's India expert, and I love them calling me by this name. I have an amazingly diverse career with extensive media experience and have reached more than 1 billion people via print, TV, and online. I'm an expert in innovative and value creation market entry strategies for corporations. I have discovered that India's economy flourishes because its businesses think big. They don't let obstacles overcome their vision. Get creative. Ingenuity is used to transform limitations, maximize resources in every way possible, know their customers, think favorably of change, provide high social value to their clients, are driven by dreams of grandeur. Having said that, friends, I just wanted to remind you, please go and buy these two books, and these two books are available wherever books are sold. Having said that, I'll go in a commercial break, and please be here in the show because we have a very interesting guest, Vince Spinato.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformmedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad leads to multi-sector success stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad management principle business model. Of the book The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration. True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price-value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article featuring expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass markets in India but in the entire world. By reconfiguring all areas of the business structure, they will pull.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
So now I want to welcome Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio TV show, Author Vincent Spinnato.
Hi, Doctor.
Well, hi, how are you? I'll read a little bit about your bio, and then I have some questions for you.
Okay, great.
With more than 25 years of experience in the personal care, cosmetics, and fine fragrance industries, Vince Spinato, a cosmetic chemist, certified nose executive, and marketer, has become one of the leading names in the refinement and development of new products and private label lines for beauty brands and fine fragrances. Spinato's wealth of experience and continual research for the best and most effective ingredients has led to multiple product breakthrough. Through the years, he has worked with numerous cosmetics and healthcare companies such as Chanel Limited, Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Gap/Banana Republic, P&G, J&J, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Kmart/Sears, and many others. Spinato has also worked on developing new products for celebrities including Ole Henriksen, Michael Jordan, Jennifer Lopez, Jessica Simpson, Lilian Garcia, Carrie Underwood, Pitbull, French Montana, and others. His new book is coming on January 10, 2021, and in the little brief which was given on Amazon, I would like to read that about the book. Vince Spinato invites readers to join him on the roller coaster retelling of his bat's crazy life from the lowest lows to the highest highs, culminating in his rise to fame, crafting beauty products for scores of Hollywood glitterous celebrities and hundreds of cosmetic treatment and healthcare companies, entrepreneurs, retailers, and well-known brands. His revealing memoir shares not only the entertaining stories of life in glamorous Hollywood, love's lost and the scramble to make it, but also the touching journey to self acceptance. Hilarious, outrageous, and totally engaging, my pursuit for beauty will have you howling with laughter and contemplating with your own life goals. So, my first question is, please talk first about your journey as a successful cosmetic chemist.
Thank you, doctor. It's been actually a very long journey for me. I wanted to be a cosmetic chemist almost since I was like 10 years old, believe it or not. I used to watch the Young and the Restless TV show growing up with my grandmother, and their show was actually about a cosmetic company. So it's kind of quite funny where I got the idea from, but I used to kind of play and mimic and use my sister's Easy Bake Oven, which is which was a toy in the late 70s, and I would actually try and make products with it. So what I always knew what I wanted to do, which I'm very lucky. So by the time I got into my junior and senior year of high school, I had a very good friend, Stacy, that was my friend in high school that was a graphic artist, and she actually developed my first logo to my company when I was a junior in high school, so 16 years old, and that's still my logo today for my company, 30 years later. So it really was um, a just an idea as a kid, but while watching a television show, which is kind of embarrassing to say, but that was actually the reason and where I got the idea from.
Um, so, how did you manage to get such big celebrity Hollywood clients?
I started when I was about 20 years old. I moved. I drove from New Jersey, the Jersey Shore, where I grew up, all the way out to Beverly Hills, and I'm pretty much
Uh,
a very big go-getter. So I was kind of an entrepreneur since I was even a teenager, like I just mentioned. So I got as far as Phoenix, and I called a woman that was a Beverly Hills, stylist and salon owner and product maker that I'm going to show up at your salon and we're going to work together. She thought I was nuts, obviously. But I did show up to her salon 2 days later. I knocked on her door and said, I want to work for you and learn, from the best. She had these big articles that were in, Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and LGQ, W, etc. And so I interned with her for about a year and a half for free, living off of credit cards and kind of just having odd jobs. And through her, I met my first celebrity client, which was Michael Jordan, the basketball player. And down the road in Beverly Hills was a pretty famous company called Bijan, which is the big fragrance house. And I had worked was through her because they were friends. I worked with him to get the first fragrance going with Michael Jordan which is it's still a fragrance being sold today in Foot Locker, Foot Locker shooting store. And then that led into Jennifer Lopez and Jessica Simpson. So kind of one led for another. So I really just kind of fell into it at 20 years old with that connection I had in Beverly Hills.
okay. So, what is your mantra of success?
What's that, doctor? Say it again.
What is your mantra for success? What is like, how
For
did you
success?
manage to? Yes, yes. What is
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's kind of cliche, but you always say you don't give up, you keep going. But when you read my book, it's really about a tremendous amount of journey of many ups and downs, and just how I was able to keep going. So it's really just persistence, 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 persistence. And I don't think everybody is really wired that way. I think you're either wired that way as an entrepreneur or not. I don't know if it's necessarily something you can learn. I think you can teach the crafts and the business sense and educating yourself on how to do certain things, but you either have that drive to keep. And,
you
and there
are?
was many times
Yeah, your internet is
I
like.
wanted to go work for other companies. That that'd be easier if I just get doing great. Is that
No,
better?
your internet is like freezing after a little
Oh,
bit. Yeah.
okay. I'll keep my eye on that. I'm sorry.
So we have a question. Uh, uh, let's see. So let's talk about your book.
Yes. So the book is called My Pursuit of Beauty. Which is my journey from childhood all the way through to now, having to develop products, working with celebrities, you're trying to get products developed for them, and also my own personal pursuit of beauty. For I never liked really the way I looked, so I started getting involved and wanting to do plastic surgery and kind of improve myself. And as I go through the journey of these last 30 years, which is what I wrote about, I finally connected with myself that beauty comes from within and not from the outside, which is something I didn't really realize about myself. But as I was going through this journey of developing products for other people, it was kind of a double-edged sword that I was like going my pursuit of beauty for myself personally, but also my pursuit of beauty for doing products for other people and making them feel better about themselves and look better, etc. I've always kind of believed that skincare is the number one foundation to looking good on the outside. So I don't necessarily really believe in color cosmetics. Everyone's going to wear makeup no matter what, but I really believe in treating and correcting the skin first, and then using makeup to enhance it later on. So that's kind of one of my main mantras. It really is to feel beautiful from the inside out first. Treat yourself, to your hair, to your skin, to your body, etc. But knowing that we're all beautiful, in our own ways, which I had to learn myself, which is part of this whole journey of the book that I went through.
So can you walk us through like what is like a typical process for a cosmetic to be developed?
Sure. So for example, doctor, if you were to come to me and say, "Hey, Vince, I want to put a skincare line together," the first thing I'd ask you to do is bring me in some product that you like, that you don't like, what you've been loving and you've been using in your life, and then we start either by reverse engineering the product, meaning that if you say you love a product from Chanel, we can say, "Oh, you like the way it feels, the way it smells, that kind of thing." So we can do one area, which is reverse engineering products, or our biggest, forte is doing everything from scratch. So we develop our own formulations from scratch, et cetera. So really the first step is to develop the base of the formulation, and then we'll be sending it to you as a client, and you say, "Vince, no, I hate it. I love it. Change this, change that." And then we keep going through revisions till you get to the final solution. And during that period of time, we're developing the caps, the bottles, the actuator it goes in, the graphics, the way it's going to look, all the romance copy, which is like, all your verbiage for the packaging, etc. So we really would take you through a whole, it's like an 18-month steps almost. It only takes about 18 months to develop a product. OTC drugs like SPFs or acne or hair regrowths or hand sanitizers, they take about 2 years. You have to go through all the FDA and OTC drug guidelines. So really anywhere between 18 months to 24 months to get a product to market. But it's really a very meticulous, slow project. And really you as the client, is really driving the revisions and what you want to what you want to look like, smell like, feel like, and how it actually is going to perform on the skin.
So how much of an investment a person is looking for, like if they want to develop a product?
Sure. Well, formulations can be, all over the map, but roughly, formulation can be anywhere between 15,000 to 25,000 a formulation. For OTC drugs, they're around about 30,000 because you have to, again, you have a lot of extra steps you have to go through to get to get an actual product line to the market that's an OTC drug. So if you were to do a basic skincare regimen, which would be, cleanser, toner, moisturizer, night cream, eye serum, and like an anti-aging serum, like a mask, for example, you'd be about 250,000 deep by the side you're done, because you have to not only do you have to pay for the formulation and all the R&D work, then you got to have your packaging and your graphics done and your website developed, et cetera. So it can be anywhere between 150 to 250,000 depending on how wide the program is going to be. If it's going to be just one or two products, then you're like in a $50,000 range. So it really depends how many products that you're actually developing and working on.
I have a quick question, like how much would developing a lipstick would cost?
A lipstick would be about 20,000 roughly. So you have to be prepared to go through kind of revisions. We never no formulators really ever get it on the first shot. So you have to have 2 or 3 or 4 revisions. And then you go ahead, once you sign off on the formulation, then we go into FDA required testing. So it's about $20,000 investment normally, but that's just for the formulation work. Then you got to, buy the packaging and you have it manufactured and that kind of thing. So you always want to have a range of about, for one product, like 25 to 50 by the time you get it actually to the market.
So, do you arrange for investors, or a person pays through their own self? Like, do you get investors in the process of developing, for example, a lipstick for 20,000 and so, or
Yes.
just
Yes, both, doctor. We have a lot of clients that, of course, have their own money and they don't need financing, but we do have ones that are larger that have like a big program that sometimes will help bring angel investors in or VC, that kind of thing. So we have programs that have gone anywhere from $10,000 to $500,000 before we get it to the market. So it really depends on how big the program or launch is. A lot of times the celebrities, it's more of a licensing agreement or like so they don't actually normally pay for the product development themselves. We just kind of license their name, and of course they're involved in the whole process, and we're always working with them directly. But a lot of times they don't pay for their own R&D work. They have either an investment group or it could be their agency that funds it. So it's really kind of depending on how big the program is and who you're working with.
Okay, we have a question.
Sure.
When someone has you develop a product for them, do they have the rights to the products?
Yes, that's a great question, and that's one very special thing about what we do. We are 100% transparent with our development work. So everybody we work with, they own the full qualitative and quantitative formulation when we're done. They have all the recipe, the procedure, how to put it together. So we really are we hold their hand through the whole manufacturing process, but they unequivocally own everything when we're done. All the rights are turned over to the customer and the client when we're done. So we're not like I know where the question is coming from your viewer. We're not like a private label company where we actually retain the ownership of the formulation. We just kind of like let you use it. So all of our customers own everything outright when we're done with the process.
So how big is your team? Like, you must be having a lab and all to do the formulation and all.
Yes, as far as the internal team, we're not that big. We're very boutique. It's only about 10 of us, which is in my lab in Capistrano Beach, California, which is about an hour and a half south of Los Angeles. And then we have a manufacturing plant that we work with in Tempe, Arizona. So we have the full turnkey process. So we do all the R&D development work in Southern California, and then when it's time for scale up, then we move it to Arizona, and that's where it actually gets scaled up and goes into production. So we have about a 2,000 square foot lab in R&D lab in Southern California, and then we have like 100,000 square foot manufacturing plant in Tempe, which is where all the stuff gets put together.
Oh, okay. So like it is the whole turnkey, like somebody just comes to you and says, I want to develop a lipstick or I want to develop a fragrance. So you just go through the whole process, you quote a price that this much it will cost, and then you start your process.
Correct. We take them through the whole entire project. We call it from concept to launch. We're their partner all the way through. So really from your concept all the way to the store shelf. So we're taking them through the whole process. Hence my company's name, Turnkey Beauty, that we turnkey the whole entire program for the customers.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about your book. What's in this beautiful book, which is launching 10th January?
You froze, doctor, for a second. Can you just ask me one more time? The screen froze on you.
Yes, what is in your beautiful book? What have you written about in this book?
I wrote through really what it took me through to get from kind of point A, which is my childhood, and I'll kind of start off give you a little background. I have a disorder called trichotillomania, which is a hair pulling disorder, and maybe some of your viewers know what that is, but it's a obsessive compulsive disorder of pulling your hair. So it's in kind of the family of like nail biting or cutters or that kind of thing. So I had that when I was 11, 12 years old. Once my grandmother had passed away, it's normally a traumatic event that triggers it. And the reason why I'm mentioning so hence my pursuit of beauty, which the book is called, I always did not like the way I looked because I was doing damage to myself all the time. So I spent 30 years on the therapy couch, trying to kind of sort through this trichotillomania mania. But with that, it gave me a lot of drive to do what I wanted to do. So I never really let that hold me back on what I wanted to do. So I really just kind of took it one step at a time. And the book really is about the journey of going from hating the way I look, being bullied in school, not feeling, I was who I was in my own skin, and again, searching for that pursuit of beauty for myself. But coincidentally, I fell in love with the beauty industry. So I really lay out in the book how I develop products for my clients and celebrities. And I have a lot of tremendous funny things in the book. Like I met with a lot of A-list celebrities that were, which I consider real old Hollywood, like Lauren Bacall and Bob Hope and Jimmy Stewart and and Katherine Grayson. So I really early on I started working with what I would consider royalty Hollywood, and I have a great story in there in my book about Lauren Bacall, how every single thing that could have gone wrong at a lunch with her went wrong. It's hysterical. I've been stuck in a water slide in an amusement park with naked. So it's a lot of funny things that happened. I was, in more serious notes, I was post 9/11, I was on an airliner that was almost shot down about 22 days after 9/11 when we started finally flying again. So it really was a tremendous amount of things that happened negative to me, to losing a lot of big potential deals. Again, with the trichotillomania, and that's how I kind of went through the process. So it's really I always kind of joke and say I want people to read my book, and if they want to be successful, do the opposite of everything that happened to me, and then you'll probably be a lot better way get there quicker.
So there is a question. You are a good-looking man. Why did you not like what you look like?
Well, first of all, thank you. I appreciate that. But I have had plastic surgery over the years now, so I didn't always know. I kind of look the same I always have. But it really, and that's a very good question, because it really was in my own head. Again, I was 11, 12 years old, pulling all my hair out of my head. I went through, grammar school and high school with big bald spots in my head. So that didn't, lean towards a positive, positive self-image of myself. And of course, people made fun of me, whatever. So I think that worked against me. I'm also 100% Italian, which I'm very, very proud of. I'm a second generation Italian in my family, and I always hated my nose. I still have a nose that I really dislike. So that was something I always worked on. Never came out the way I wanted. I had a big honker when I was a kid, made fun of. So it really was it was unfortunately about bullying, and I don't think I really felt comfortable in my own skin. And also, I'm gay also. And I also grew up in a very conservative, southern New Jersey. My family was very accepting, thank God. But being gay in the very early 90s, late 80s, that also there was no Will and Grace, there was no Ellen, there was no, there was nothing to like kind of think that gay was okay. So I didn't know what it even was till I turned 18 years old. So it was all that kind of stuff mixed together where I didn't really feel comfortable in my own skin.
Someone is asking, did you work with Jimmy Stewart?
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny. I mentioned Jimmy Stewart, but actually I went to Jimmy Stewart's funeral. So I don't know, he was already dead when I got there. But it was a funeral, and when he passed away in the very late 90s, that's where I met Lauren Bacall at. So I actually, it's kind of, that's part of my story in a book. I actually kind of crashed this funeral of Jimmy Stewart. And I was in the back there because I was working across the street at the salon where I was at. So I went over there to kind of see what was going on. It ended up being Jimmy Stewart's funeral. So I went back to the church and I kind of waited back there. And on the way out was, again, George Burns and Bob Holmes and Ann Miller and Lauren Bacall. And I struck up a meeting. I struck up a conversation with Lauren Bacall, telling her, sorry about your friend's loss and blah, blah. And then somehow I complimented her lipstick and she said, oh, that's really sweet. I said, oh, I'm a cosmetic chemist and blah, blah. And that led to a lunch with her a couple months later, which was a disaster. But it's really funny. Your viewer picked up on the one celebrity I said, but he was already dead when I got there. So I never actually worked with him, which is a horrible thing to say, but he had passed away already when I went. That's how I met him. He's in his coffin.
Then there's another question. Do you do marketing for your launch products?
Yes, we do all of our marketing in-house. So we help with all the, we call it romance copy, which is how the product actually is how you kind of say, apply to your face 3 times a day, blah, blah, blah. So we do all the romance copy. We do all the print advertising, photo shoots, website development, global translations for international countries, barcoding, et cetera. So it's really a full turnkey service from beginning to end. There's not really anything we don't do for the whole process from getting the product from beginning to end that we don't do in-house.
Yes. So let's see. Somebody says, you really are a good looking man. Anyone would be lucky to be in a relationship with you.
That's what I say. I agree.
my viewers are going crazy. Never had this kind of experience, man.
That's good to know. Not too bad. Not too bad. 46.
You got frozen again. So can you please repeat what you said?
Yeah, I said not too bad for 46, I hope.
So let's talk about your documentary. Do you have anything else to say about your book?
The book, it's really, the whole book kind of came from, and I'll tell you a real funny little story. As I mentioned, I was in therapy for 30 years, and I'm 46 years old right now, and at 38, I was going to therapy like almost twice a week for almost 30 years. So it was a lot. And I was doing my normal therapy session, about my trichotillomania and, being gay thing and all relationships not working out and how I got screwed over in business so many times, etc. And I was probably about 20 minutes into the session. I'm like, you know what? I can't hear myself talk anymore. I'm like, I'm done. And it literally was a light switch like that. And I was like, I cannot talk anymore about myself. I mean, if I was narcissistic at some point, it's over for sure. I cannot do it. So that week, I literally called a friend of mine who had a connection to a ghostwriter who would end up being a brilliant ghostwriter for my book, Mickey Goodman. We just have a great relationship, and she's brilliant at what she does. And I told my story to her. I didn't write one word of my book with my hand because I'm dyslexic. I'm ADD. I can't spell. I'm like, I have a lot of learning disabilities. So Mickey Goodman wrote my entire book for me, and I dictated the whole story to her. But that became my therapy, and that took 7 years for me to write this book. So once I wrote the book, I feel a lot better about myself, and I feel like I left the first 45 years behind.
So let's talk about your documentary. Someone is making a documentary on you. So what is that about?
The documentary is called Skin Deep, and what it is a kind of more of the book is more of a deep dive into my life, where the Skin Deep documentary is really about showing America how products are made. That's one of the big questions I get all the time. I always say 3 times a week. I could be sitting on you next to a plane, and if I say a cosmetic chemist, out comes the purse and all the lipstick. They say, "Oh, Vince, is this good? What should I be using?" Blah, blah. So I get asked all the time, how do you actually make it? And I can't believe, no one's even done it yet, that it hasn't been done showing America how beauty products are made. You kind of get snippets of things, but we really kind of show every single step of the manufacturing process. It goes real deep into my personal life. Again, how I was trying to work through the process of getting through products made. So it shows the whole process from beginning to end. And we have clients that are kind of in the middle of the process, ones that are in the beginning, and ones that are in the end. And how we take them through the whole journey. So it's really a very fun documentary. I'm really kind of showing America how you can develop, product lines.
I see. So do you have anything more to say?
Just buy the book if you. And that's the most important thing, right? I think it's really funny. It'll make you cry. It'll make you laugh. We're getting phenomenal feedback on it. And like I said earlier, I think the biggest thing I tell everybody, which is really a joke but / true, everything I did in the book, don't do it. That's kind of the lesson of the book. It's just really do the opposite of that, and maybe it'll be more successful faster than it took for me.
So let's talk about some celebrities, like Hollywood clients you have. Like, how did you manage to get them? Like one after it?
Yeah, I've been now formulating for about 26 years, and I have not advertised a day in my life. So it's not really kind of business you can advertise for. So honestly, Doctor, it's been word of mouth. It's been one project to one celebrity after the next. I probably about 10 years ago, I became a source for the agency like CAA, APA, Gersh, William Morris. So what they do is that they have me there as a source. So when one of their celebrity clients that they manage wants to do something in beauty, I normally get reached out to. Now, I don't always get awarded the business. I'm always competing against big companies. It could be like a Unilever or a Coty or a Johnson & Johnson or P&G. But what they get with me is very, very personalized service. You're getting me. You're not getting, a $1 billion corporation where you're just like, just a celebrity name. So for that reason, a lot of celebrities liked working with me because they're really, I had a phenomenal relationship with Jennifer Lopez. I worked with her in the very late 90s in her fragrance, which is called Still, which is still on the market now. And it's for people that are old enough, will know that she had that very famous song, Jenny from the Block, when she was married to Ben Affleck. So it's kind of earlier in her career. And she used to call me Vinny from the Block. And we had like a website that had that on it. And, so she was a lovely, lovely, lovely lady. And so that, she was even a big celebrity even then. So when I was able to start name dropping, I did work for Jennifer Lopez and Michael Jordan, and then came Jessica Simpson. When at the time, also she was very, very popular. She had an MTV TV show with her husband, Nick Lachey, from 98 Degrees, which was a band that was kind of competing with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC at the time. So it really was just a lot of high-profile clients. Even to 2 years ago, I just finished working with Gwen Stefani on a line for her and her daughter that they have in Macy's. So it really has kind of come full circle. It's just been one kind of just talking about me, I guess, is the best way to put it. I never advertise. Sometimes I don't know where to even come from. It's just normally from the agency that know what I do down in Southern California.
So does your book has all these anecdotes you are telling, or what, like about Hollywood celebrities? But because people would love to know about more about them through you.
They do. I do have that all in the book, and I talk about a lot of my celebrity encounters. Like another funny one is I went to the Oscars twice in my career. Once for the year of Schindler's List, which was 1993, I think, and then also for the year of Titanic, which was 1997. I love telling this story because I got invited through Elle magazine, which was at the time it was Hachette Filipacci publication, which was Elle Decor, Architectural Digest, Mademoiselle magazine, George magazine, which was JFK Jr.'s magazine before he passed away. So that was all in the same group. So in my limo, going to Titanic year of the Oscars with all the designers, Donna Karan, Ralph Lauren, Giorgio Armani, everybody you can imagine was in there. And I love this story because the limo in front of me was Sean Connery, and behind me was Raquel Welch. So we had all these celebrities were getting out of my limousine. Again, Donna Karan first, Ralph Lauren, et cetera. And when you get out, you had that big, photo shoot going off. And I'll never forget the longest 1 second of my life. I put my foot out of the car, and the whole entire audience went, and they go, oh. So, because I was nobody, so this was like, oh, it was like this 1 second where no one even knew who I was, and just like, oh, this is horrible. Then Raquel Welch came out of her limousine right up behind me, kind of saved me, because it was like they started clapping. I was with all these people on the outskirts and kind of behind the scenes, and that's how they kind of got to know me. But all these kind of funny stories are in the book, yes.
Okay. So are you doing another book, or what are your next in line?
Well, I probably could do. I probably could do 10 more books. There's so many things that happened to me, but not at the moment. I'm not. I'm working on I had a documentary coming out. I have my personal skincare line just came out called Vincenzo Skincare, which is a line that I developed originally for Dubai, for the market in Dubai. Once the virus kind of started, we kind of lost our connection out there in Dubai. So it's a beautiful line based in caviar and diamonds. And it's got real diamonds and real caviar in it. So it's actually diamond cert, which is diamond dust. So it's a very, very high-end prestige 4-piece kit, which is like a $1,500 US dollar kit, which will change your skin on contact. It's amazing how good it works. We have phenomenal feedback on it. So we just launched that recently on my website, which is vincenzoskincare.com, which is where people can get it. But that's really between the skincare line and the book and the documentary, we're working on all three of those things right now. But the biggest thing really is just I'm excited to get the skincare line on the market because it's the first time, in 30 years of doing it. I mean, I have a product coming out with my own name on it. So it's taken a long. That was always my goal from a kid as a teenager, was to get my own product line, which took 30 years to get there.
I see. So, what is your website? Like, if people want to go there.
My website is my website is VincenzoSkincare.com, which is VINCENZO like zebra, O like ocean, skincare.com. So it's kind of a hard name, but that's my first name in Italian. But that's where you can buy the skincare line at the moment.
Okay. And your book would be like distributed worldwide, I assume?
Yeah, the book is being pre-sold right now on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So it comes out officially on January 10th. But right now you can it's being pre-sold on the Kindle, and the paperback is on both Barnes and Noble and Amazon. And then also we have an audio version coming out probably about 45 more days from now. We're still finishing the audio version, but you actually can pre-sell it or order it right now on Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
Do you know that I also review cosmetics, so you can be a great asset there to help me get some clients on that.
Absolutely, I'd love to. I can probably do that in about 20 minutes. That's no problem.
I would love to have some clients on cosmetic reviews so that I can do some reviews on this radio come TV show. I love to do cosmetic reviews. I'll send you my videos. So do you have anything more to say?
No, I don't think so. I really appreciate you having me on, and I hope your viewers enjoy it. And I really hope they can dive into the book, and the documentary will be out at some point in 2021. We don't know when yet. And again, the skincare line is life changing if you can get your hands on it. So I really appreciate you letting me on and talk to your viewers.
Yeah, you're getting promoted to more than 300 million listeners. That's what my reach is in this radio come TV show.
I don't think I do better than that.
So thank you so much, Vince, for coming in my show, and I really appreciate that, and we'll be in touch.
Right. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Well, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So this was a very interesting talk, friends. Let me go through the comments. Like, do they have anything more? Okay, I think I got everything covered here. Okay. So I don't know from whom what kind of things do your client ask for of you? So Vince is gone. I can answer that. I do author services and all, and I can bring unlimited traffic, and I can optimize your Amazon page and bring unlimited traffic to your Amazon and Barnes and Noble or your website to increase your sale, and I can optimize it, and I can tell you that which products on Amazon are doing very good. And so if you are looking to launch on Amazon but are confused that which products you should sell on Amazon, then you can consult me, and you can go to my website www.afshanhashmi.com or www.drafshanhashmi.com, and please do go and buy these books and give me an honest review. Having said that, friends, now I will sign off from this interesting episode of my radio come TV show, and cheers and bye bye.
You have been listening to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show on W4WN Radio, the Women for Women Network. Tune in live right here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email at info@talk4media.com. And remember, if you missed any part of this show or want to hear it again, find our featured show on iHeartRadio, where all past episodes are available on demand 24/7. See you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.